Hey everybody, welcome to another quick video. This one's going to be an update on the C8 Corvette that we've got on order. As you all well know by now, hopefully if you follow the channel, if you don't, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you can stay up to date with what we've got coming up on the channel. So in July of last year, we placed a order for a C8 Corvette, a Rapid Blue. There's a video and I'll link that in the description here somewhere if you guys want to take a look at the spec sheet, the build sheet. And unfortunately, with everything that happened, our order got held up. There were several factors as to why it got held up, mostly the color, to be honest with you. If we had ordered torch red or white or any of the other colors that are out there, we probably would have our C8 by now because we order on opening day when orders were being taken. And, because of the color, I was not aware at the time. My salesperson didn't know either, I don't think. And from all the forums, everything that I read, there was nothing about color restrictions or anything like that. But as it turns out, the Rapid Blue is one of the colors that basically has not been built yet. If you see a Rapid Blue, more than likely that was a wrap, vinyl wrap, or it was a press vehicle. So there are press vehicles out there that were pre-built for the press, and those have been sold to customers. They do tend to do that sometimes. Some of them are crushed, and I forget what the qualification might be. If you guys know, comment down below in the description and educate me, because I really don't know the true answer, just some of the things that I've read. But there are some cars out there pre-released that were sold to customers or get sold to customers, and some of those are Rapid Blue. But technically, or as of right now, maybe they are, as of the making of this video, they really haven't produced any Rapid Blue C8s. And so ours is a Rapid Blue 3LT. We've got a few options on there, like the nose lift. We've got some custom stuff on the interior. We also chose the Corvette Museum delivery, which those have taken place, so that didn't have anything anything to do with the delay itself. So anyhow, we're learning now that the plant has reopened. They are building anywhere between 60 to 90 C8s per day. But to give you a little insight on that, normally they build between 150 to 180 C8s per day. And I think they really were going to ramp that number up to 200 from some of the estimates that we read. So as of early June, because of COVID and everything else, they've just reopened the plant, and there's been a couple of delays. If you haven't been following the C8 craze, which I think everybody on the planet knows about it now, when the orders first opened up, immediately after they had a strike, or during that time, there was a strike that impacted production and impacted the C8 production. And then in January, as you guys are well aware, we had the COVID outbreak and everything started to shut down, and the GM plant was no exception. And they reopened, I think they build into March. If I remember correctly, they were producing cars into part of March. And since then, they haven't built anything. And earlier in June, they reopened the plant, started building. There was maybe a week or two ramp up time, for the cars to get built. And so with people being off of work for, months, and technically they didn't really get to build a whole lot of C8s, right? So, we had some sort of downtime. And then as they come back, they also had to build and get up to speed once again, get familiarized with how everything works. So let me go back to the C8 here. I don't know how I ended up on the Stingray, beautiful car, but anyhow, there's the beautiful Rapid Blue. I cannot wait for us to get our hands on this vehicle, hopefully soon. And that's kind of why I'm making the video, in case you've been wondering where's the car. We've been wondering too. We really have had no updates from anyone other than myself reading some of the Corvette forums and some of the updates that get posted on social media. I also run ATL C8 Corvette. If you don't follow that account on Instagram, I'll link that below, and go ahead and give us a follow the channel as well. We've got about 13,000 followers on that Instagram account and growing every day, so thank you to everybody that follows us and shares their pictures with us. But back to the C8 itself. And so as the plant reopened in early June, they've started to ramp up. They're getting familiar with the processes and tools. There's also a supply dependency, right? Like, has the supply chain caught up yet? Everybody's pretty much not up to 100%, working capacity right now, and I don't think the plant's any exception, knowing that they're only building 60 to 90 vehicles per day, and normally they can build 180 to maybe even 200 per day, right, with previous Corvettes. So We're waiting to see what happens. What we do know is that they're producing the cars once again. I have still not seen any of the Rapid Blues get built. I did see a couple of members on one of the forums that are on Rapid Blue orders do get a status update where they've moved into a production, and when you get moved into that, you get what they call a target production week date, which they took away from everybody. And so let me kind of walk you through, give you a little background too on the Corvette order status codes. There's several videos out there, by the way, that explain this much better than I ever will. So I would, recommend that if you want to learn more about how the ordering processing works, to do that. However, I will do my best to try to explain how this works. So when you place the order, when you sit down with your salesperson or you do it online through the configurator and you submit that, it normally goes into a dealership of your choice. If you don't have one in the area, then they will assign one to you as you place the order. So then the sales manager or a Corvette salesperson will call you and they'll just confirm what you put in for the build sheet itself, right? And so once that happens and the order is placed with the dealership, it goes into a system where GM receives that, or Chevrolet, and you get an 1100, status basically that you can see here on screen. And basically that just means that the order was placed at the dealership. And then you'll hear a lot of people talk about, I'm sitting at order, status 3000 or 2000 and so on. And if you don't know what that means, well, this is part of that explanation. And then once the order is accepted, meaning that somebody at Chevrolet reviewed it and kind of went through it, they accept it, so you get moved into 2000. And then they have to check to make sure that that Corvette dealership or Chevrolet dealership that sold you the vehicle or accepted your order actually has an allocation, because none of that means anything if the dealership doesn't have an allocation for a Corvette. And so once it goes through that, they'll look at that, confirm that there's an allocation. In my case, I ordered through Rick Hendricks Chevrolet here in Duluth, Georgia. And they've got dealerships all over the South, and I think even in Texas and Tennessee, if I remember correctly. Pretty large dealership. If you don't know who that is, he owns also NASCAR teams or several teams on the NASCAR circuit. And so they're very well known. He's always one of the first ones to buy Corvette 1 and 2 and has been doing that for quite a long time, has an extensive car collection, including a Corvette collection. Anyhow, back to the order status code. So in January, we were told, I think January 17th, that our order was moved into 3000. That means that it was accepted. And back then, that means that it cleared all the things that, sometimes they got to look at things like, can you put this interior on that interior? Normally, a configurator won't let you do that, but there are instances where maybe the salesperson didn't pay attention or the customer didn't pay attention and it got submitted a certain way. That may not be a configurable order, right? So they have to make sure that that can be actually produced. And so that's what that means. Once you get into a 3000 status by production control, it means that all the things that you've requested are available and can be added to the vehicle and customized as you like, right? So in January 17th, and I talked about it in the other video, somewhere around there, we got notification that we were at order status 3000. And from there, now you move into, what they call 3100 order available. That means they can start, on the vehicle. It's sequence, and then you go into 3300, which is actually scheduled for production. That's the best news that you can possibly receive. And from there, you normally get a TPW or a target production week. Although some people get that as early as 3000, we got one. Our original TPW or target production week was actually April 28th or 29th, somewhere around there. That's the one that we were given originally. After all this stuff happened, everybody that received one actually had those taken back. Chevrolet, for some reason, hit the numbers or the dates, and I'm not sure what the reasoning for that was. There's a lot of speculation as to why that happened, but essentially what they do is they go in and give you, once you move into 3300, they give you a target production week, and from there you pretty much know when your car's going to be built. Once it gets built, it goes into a QA, for quality assurance to make sure the vehicle's proper, and if anything's, not proper on the vehicle, they go back, fix it. But normally it's about a week or two after that vehicle gets built and it gets shipped out. And that's kind of what these, if you look at, maybe I need to zoom in a little bit, it might help for you to see it, but you can kind of see, and I should have done that earlier, I apologize. But you can kind of see and hear what all the status codes mean, right? And so 4,000 is the greatest news because that means the car is produced, ready to go. I mean, it's at 3,800, right? But at 4,000, it's ready to be shipped either to the dealership that you're purchasing through, or in my case, to the National Corvette Museum, which is, you're going to see the NCM in there as well, right? 4,200, of course. It goes from Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the vehicle is built, to the dealer. It gets shipped out, or if it's going to the National Corvette Museum, then it gets shipped out over there, right? So these are what the status codes are and what they mean. So in case you were wondering, I just wanted to share this with you a little bit. And, big props to Corvette Conti. They've got an awesome website where they give a lot of updates and, explanations like this one, which are really great for some of us. This was my first time ordering a Corvette. This is my first Corvette that I've owned. And so there was a lot that I had to learn, right? I'm usually a Viper guy, and I've had other cars, Mustangs and Camaros, but, this is my first Corvette. So anyways, this is the status code. So we are at 3,000 and we have not moved. But what we have heard since the plant reopened in early June, today is the 17th, and in early June is that they started building cars. And what we heard from GM is pretty much anybody that had a 3,000 status, order status, they were going to get a 2020. That's what we heard. That's, I think coming from some of the GM folks. And so we're keeping our fingers crossed that our Rapid Blue C8 will get built for 2020. It's been literally a year since we ordered the vehicle, close to it. We ordered in July, and here we are mid-June. So a couple of weeks away from waiting for a whole year. Again, the world has changed, right? So we can't blame anyone. And there was also the strike that kind of delayed things. So we're hopeful that somewhere in I think August, what it looks like from anybody that has received notification up until now that their car's being built, that was an order 3,000. We've heard that sometime in August, they'll be able to pick up their vehicles. And that's really right at the cutoff for when, 2021, they're going to build into the later months, later than they normally build a car for that year. But, Chevrolet, and I appreciate that they did that. And GM, I think, really wanted to get as many 2020s out for those of us that ordered the cars. From what I've read, and I'm no expert, I have no inside information whatsoever, anybody that was not at 3,000 when they reopened the plan more than likely is not going to get a 2020. They're going to be offered a 2021. So again, take it for what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. But we're hopeful, since we were at 3,000, that we'll get notified. And I did reach out once again to Corvette Concierge, who, kudos to those guys. They've been amazing, always giving us as much information as they possibly can. But they're also limited in what what information they have available. But they told me in about 2 weeks, which is right around now, I'm probably going to give them a call sometime this week, maybe at the end of the week, to see if they've heard anything, see if my order has changed. Normally, the salesperson will get notified if it does, and typically they will notify the customer and let them know, hey, great news, your vehicle has moved into, in our case, probably will be 3,100. Some people are not even getting notified until it goes into 3,400, right? Which means that, the vehicle is pretty much ready to go and will be built for sure. So that's where we're at. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the C8, and we're still waiting, as patiently as we can, but we're really excited. In the meantime, I've been, living vicariously through my Instagram ATLC8 Corvette account and other channels that I follow. There's amazing content out there, and we want to make some amazing content too, but we have to patiently wait for our Rapid Blue to get delivered, get built. So we'll let you guys know, and my dog's barking, so I think it's time for me to go. But anyways, there's just another update. I'm sorry I don't have any more exciting stuff or actual V8 clips, but the plan is, or C8 clips, I should say. The plan is, when we do get the car finally built, we're going to take a trip up to the National Corvette Museum, document all that. I'm still debating if I drive it back so I can do the break-in properly, back roads, right? I'm not that far away from the National Corvette Museum. And so I would probably drive a little bit of highway, some back roads, just so you don't, part of the braking process is to make sure that you're not at a constant speed the whole time for those first 500 miles. But I would love to do that instead of, I've got a really good friend of mine. Check his account out, at Z51 Atlanta. He's got a over 1200 horsepower Camaro Z01 that's just an absolute beast. Anyways, he's got an awesome rig with a trailer and a big tow truck, and so he's offered kindly to go pick up the C8 with myself. And so we're debating if we go pick it up. That way it'll be in an enclosed trailer, avoiding any rock chips or anything like that that could damage the car, and definitely don't want any of that before we get to apply some expel or ceramic coating to help with that. But if that's the case, then we'll probably either trailer it back, and if not, if I decide to drive it back. The problem is I don't really want to fly right now with everything that's going on, and that would mean I either have to drive another vehicle up there that somebody would have to drive back. So I think the trailering may make more sense. Let me know what you think. Comment below if you don't mind. But anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Just a quick little update. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you are subscribed, thank you for watching. Hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.